Today, the Indo-Pacific is a geopolitical term, a battleground for world powers. Take that out and you have a large confluence of the world seas, a region where two important oceans converge, the Pacific and Indian Oceans. Within this broad geographic region lies the biggest maritime flashpoint of our times, the South China Sea. Beijing thinks of it as its own backyard, but the world has a lot at stake here, and so does India. Of late, New Delhi has shifted its foreign policy focus eastward, and it is understandable why. Nearly $200 billion worth of Indian trade passes through the South China Sea. Free and open navigation is in India's interest, but Chinese dominance would be disastrous. We have already seen indications of this. PLA warships regularly intimidate Japanese and Taiwanese vessels. Throughout history, maritime superpowers have dominated world politics. Think back to the British Empire in the 16th and 17th centuries and the United States since World War I. You control the seas, you control world politics. This is what China is trying to do in the larger Indo-Pacific, but its unilateral actions have had an unintended effect. It has brought all the regional stakeholders, including the Quad, together. India has been cultivating its ties in the region. New Delhi calls it the Act East policy. The major focus is on the ASEAN grouping. The ASEAN has 10 member countries, all from Southeast Asia. It is among the fastest growing political unions in the world. Thanks to their strategic location, ASEAN wields considerable power in the region. Now, India has not signed a free trade deal with ASEAN. It has also pulled out of the RCEP partnership, citing China's dubious designs. Instead, India has opted for mini trade deals. According to reports, a preferential trade arrangement with the Philippines is on the cards. A couple of reasons why this is significant. One, the Philippines is the third largest economy in ASEAN. Two, despite over 70 years of diplomatic ties, India and the Philippines have never been close. So this could be a chance for India to bring a new country into its fold. Indications are things are moving in this direction. Earlier this month, the two sides signed a major defense agreement. The Philippines will buy the Indian-made BrahMos PJ-10 missiles. It is the fastest cruise missile in the market. Defense cooperation is always an encouraging sign because they inevitably lead to strategic partnerships. India and the Philippines are also cooperating on the vaccine front. Manila plans to secure 8 million doses of Covaxin developed by India's Bharat Biotech. India could help the Philippines revive its struggling inoculation campaign. In December last year, India stepped up cooperation with another regional player, Vietnam. Navies from both sides participated in a 2-day military drill. An Indian warship was dispatched to Vietnam to deliver humanitarian aid. The naval drills were organized on its return voyage. Singapore's Prime Minister makes a valid point about the South China Sea. This is India's sphere of influence, always has been. Indians have sailed these waters for more than 1,500 years. There is evidence of historical Indian presence. And in contemporary times, India has a lot more in common with the region than China. Democracy, a colonial past, and territorial disputes with Beijing. Economically and politically, India has a lot at stake in the South China Sea. In fact, the entire world does. In the last 40 years, the Indo-Pacific prospered as a hub of free navigation. More than half the world trade passes through here. Deterring China's belligerence in the region is key, and India could be the bulwark against Beijing. New Delhi has the economic power, the political clout, and the military strength to tackle China on the high seas. The 21st century is often described as the Asian age. How India navigates the South China Sea will decide which Asian power dominates our times. WION now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.